Hi guys, many of you have been asking why I have recently started streaming over on YouTube, specifically the Skyrim mod testing live streams. They are all appearing on YouTube rather than Twitch, and quite a few people have asked the question. I've answered it a few times, but obviously people are missing the response, so I thought I'd make a standalone video just dealing with this one question. And the simple answer to the question is the video on demand for Twitch is terrible. It's as simple as that. If it was a competition between which system is best for live streaming, Twitch wins every time. Of course, Twitch has got less delay, more options, the moderation tools are more mature, and of course, you can watch the Twitch live stream from anywhere in the world, whereas for YouTube, you can't watch live streams in Germany. Germany has its own special little rules, and they really do come a cropper with YouTube, and YouTube has elected to simply avoid dealing with them and just doesn't allow live streaming to Germany. This is obviously an issue, and for the vast majority of my live streaming, I'm going to continue live streaming on Twitch. That is, when I'm playing games, trying out new stuff, just goofing off in my free time, I will be streaming on Twitch. But for things where the video on demand is the most important thing, well, that's a different story. And if you're wondering why the video on demand is so important for my Skyrim mod testing, it's pretty simple. The sheer number of people who watch it. I found for things like Payday, I might get 300 people, 400 people watching, and if I upload the video on demand, I'll get about 400, 500 people watching the video on demand. And it's usually the same people who tuned in live who just wanted to comment. For the Skyrim mod testing, I might get 500, 600 people tuning in live, but I'll get 20,000 people watching the video on demand. So a lot of people want to watch the videos of those sessions even if they missed the live stream. For them, it's less about the live experience and more about knowing what the hell it is I'm doing. So those videos on demand are important. And unfortunately, Twitch's video on demand system is terrible. It really is pretty bad. The videos are just presented in a very basic format. You can watch the past broadcast, but it doesn't give you a comment section. It doesn't give you much of a description area. It certainly doesn't have things like remembering where you watched. So if you're watching a 5-hour session and you watch for an hour and a half and come back later, you've got to mentally remember where you were. But it also doesn't play very well. You could try and jump to 1.5 hours into a live stream and you can be waiting for 5 minutes for it to catch up and begin playing. The buffering is pretty terrible. It really is. It's one of those things where I wouldn't bother watching past broadcasts, and I don't think most other people do either. And I can tell you for a fact, just looking at the numbers, any of the videos on demand that I leave on Twitch and don't bring over to YouTube, they get almost no views. They just don't. People are not interested in trying to watch that system, and I cannot blame them. Now, of course, one possible solution is to transfer those videos over to YouTube, and I have been doing that. But that is not an optimum solution, and the reason is you can't upload the full session. You've got to have it in chunks that are lower than 2 hours. So you have to edit the video, split it up into relevant sections, and then upload it. And of course, because the playback is so terrible, it's very hard to find good breakpoints. I mean, I could just say, right, split it at the 2-hour mark and then continue from there, but then your videos become very disjointed. I might split it halfway through a sentence for all I know. So what you usually have to do is kind of jump through the video, try and remember where there were breaks, for example, and cut the video at those marks. And then, for the next section, cut it a little later than that. If there was a break for 5 minutes, cut it 5 minutes later, and so on. On some of my XCOM sessions, the ones that were lasting sort of 5 hours, I might make 4 or even 5 videos. In fact, one of them got split into 6 videos, and I have to do each one separately. And each one can take several minutes. I mean, it could take me 10 minutes for each split because of the way the video on demand works on Twitch. So as you can imagine, this can take like an extra hour just splitting the video up. I then have to send it to YouTube. Now, I have a channel where I dump all of my sort of random plays, Gopher Live. A better name for it would have actually been Gopher Goofing Off, to be honest, because occasionally I want some of those live sessions up on my main channel. And that is true for the Skyrim mod testing. And to do that, I have to keep changing the settings as to which channel it's pointing to. I don't get an option when I upload. I have to sort of go into the settings and change everything and then upload those videos and then go back into the settings and change it back to upload the other videos to Gopher Live. That takes time. Then the videos take several hours to process through YouTube's system. Once they're processed, I have to go along to those videos. I have to add descriptions, tags, thumbnail, and so on. Again, more time. Overall, I probably, per session, on XCOM for example, would spend 2 to 3 hours in total, with everything involved, in getting those videos across. It was a lot more time than I expected, and a lot more time than I was happy with. Now, not only does this time take time away from me doing other things, it also means that more often than not, I finish a session and I don't usually have time to do the work needed to get it over to YouTube immediately. Normally it's late at night, so I have to go to bed, or it's the end of the day and I've got to go pick the kids up. I normally don't leave 2 or 3 hours at the end of the session just to do all of that work. And this could mean that there'll be a 24-hour delay before I even start doing the process of transferring it across, so the video on demand could well be 2 days after the live event, which of course is going to bother quite a lot of people. Add to this the fact that you have then got 3, maybe 4 videos. It depends on how long the session is. If I split it up by breaks, you've then got 3, 4 videos uploaded at once for a single session. This makes the channel look very messy. It was one of the reasons I started dumping things on another channel, because I didn't want to make my channel hard to navigate. I already release a lot of videos as it is, and I didn't want sort of, 3, 4, 5 videos that were really just one video spamming my channel. I mean, I don't split my videos up into small chunks for a very good reason. And of course I would be forced to do that. Well, that's not true. I wouldn't be forced to do it. I could actually upload all of the separate parts and then edit them in YouTube and re-render them. So there's a little bit more work, and then I have to leave YouTube to render them and push them all together as one episode. So even more delay. But if I didn't do that, again, you've got the messy channel, plus you've got 4 videos, say, all of them with a comment section. Do I disable the comments on 3 of them so that everyone posts comments on the first one? But what happens if they're watching the third one and want to comment on something they've seen on the third one? Well, they're not going to want to go to another video, so I can't really do that. So I'm going to have comments spread out all over the place. This is just not workable. I almost would need to merge them back in to one. Another alternative is to actually record the session at the same time as streaming it. That actually is possible. But then I have to edit the thing and upload it to YouTube using a program that I'm not used to. I found one program that would edit the format because it's a Flash format. But my Sony Vegas wouldn't, and I found it really annoying to work with, very time consuming and very, very irritating. So that wasn't much of an option either. In the end, it's just too much time. It's too much hassle. It takes time away from other things I could be doing and things I want to do, and it makes the whole process, well, more hassle than it's worth, to be honest. It's probably something I just wouldn't do. I would just stop doing the live testing. It would just make the live testing so tedious for me as to drive me to not do it. And it comes down to that in the end. Twitch is great for live streaming, but it is terrible for videos on demand, and the videos on demand are really the priority here. So whilst I do appreciate that people in Germany cannot watch the video live, you will be able to watch it on YouTube afterwards, and pretty soon afterwards as well. There shouldn't be much of a delay. It will be in a nice video format with a single comment section. It will have none of the breaks that you have on Twitch, so that, you know, if I take a 5 and 10 minute break, those are automatically removed on the YouTube one, whereas on Twitch I have to do that myself. And you still get the content. You just miss the chance to interact with me live, and I do appreciate that's something that some of you might want, but I'm trying to balance multiple things here. This is not me not caring about the German audience. Of course, I will continue to stream on Twitch for my entertainment, for my fun, but for this subject, for these videos, it's more about the videos on demand, and I do apologise to those who feel a little left out. Now, this may change one day. Perhaps Twitch will get better videos on demand, or perhaps YouTube will remove the restriction. Well, it's not YouTube removing the restriction, but the German legal system gets changed in some way that YouTube are not terrified of them, and it'll sort itself out. But in the meantime, this is probably just one of those things that we have to accept. Now, I do know you're going to see a lot of comments down below already, probably, suggesting there are ways to watch the live stream in Germany, and there are. I am just not totally sure how legal they are. I've seen a lot of different arguments on this issue, and I've seen a lot of comments from people who claim to know what they're talking about, but they often disagree with comments made by equally fervent people claiming to know what they're talking about. So I'm reluctant to sort of suggest you should do that you should bypass this system. But that, of course, I'm not an expert. I do not know, but I do hope you understand I cannot sort of recommend that without being sure as to the legality of of the process. Okay, guys. I hope that explained why I'm doing it this way, and again, I do apologise to people in Germany who are unable to join the live stream, but as I said, I guarantee you will always be able to watch the video on demand afterwards, and I am more often than not now including the chat window with the main screen, so at least you can see what when I'm talking to people, you can kind of see what I'm addressing. I know some people don't like that, but there's not a lot of ways I can show both sides of the conversation without cutting in on the main screen a little bit. I will, when it's important for you to be watching the main screen, I will, of course, full screen the main screen. But if I'm just doing absolutely nothing but answering questions in the chat, I will try to have the chat visible. So at least you can, you know, follow along. Okay, anyway, I will talk to you guys later.